finally here. I'm finally doing this review after saying it in like October or something. I said I was going to do my Dark Knight review. But I'm going to do a little clever thing. I'm going to do 2 reviews in one video because I'll spend another 6 months making a Dark Knight Rises review. And if you can see, I've got my dog here with me. He's probably going to make some noises in his sleep. So if you do hear that, please forgive him. The Dark Knight is quite simply the best superhero film ever made. Now, that's a very popular opinion. It could be considered a fact. I would say it's a fact. So anyway, I'm going to cut this short. This film literally come out 10 years ago, so I don't really need to get that in depth. You have other videos to watch about in-depth Dark Knight reviews, so you don't need my... I'll probably just say the same things. So what can I say that hasn't already been said? Obviously, I'm not going to get into the Joker too much because, again, everyone has said everything. But what I want to say is, in my Irishman review, I said that every line De Niro said, I wouldn't have him have said it in any other way. But with Ledger's Joker, it's like... It's not like he's acting. It's like he's a real person right there. It's like... So here's a scene where a character is speaking, and you're like, well, that's a good line. But with Ledger's Joker, it's like he's improv-ing it, but he isn't, because he's been given lines, but at the same time he's kind of improvising, if you know what I mean. I hope you guys understand. Obviously, this is also like literally the best shot superhero film as well. It's so beautiful, and I wish I could watch it in 4K one day because that would be fucking spectacular. Although I will have a little smidge, a little problem with it. I'll say that Bruce Wayne / Batman in this film is kind of dubbed down a bit because you have these 2 villains that are widely popular, and obviously they take the fucking screen away from Batman, and that's my only little gripe with it, because he gets dumbed down a bit by these other great performances. Like, when you have so many great performances, you kind of list them. Like, oh, Ledger was the best, then Eckhart, then Gary Oldman. And then you're thinking, well, Bale wasn't the standout in this film, but then at the same time, he had a really good arc in this film. And I don't know, I just kind of feel sorry for him. But then Dark Knight Rises kind of builds him up again, so that's fine. That's my only little complaint about this film, is that Batman's just kind of dubbed down a bit, in my opinion. The score also is just fucking brilliant. I love it. It's probably one of the best scores. I still prefer Danny Elfman's score to Batman though. This one just kind of feels like... But yeah, with the cast, everyone's fucking fantastic. There isn't anyone who I thought, oh, their acting isn't good. But everyone in this literally poured their heart out. And it is so good. And it really shows. Nolan's direction with this film was fucking fantastic. I loved the first 10 minutes of the film with the bank heist. That was great. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say that hasn't already been said about this film. I would love to go in depth and stuff, but I'm like thinking, who would watch an in-depth video of Dark Knight now? They would probably want an in-depth review of fucking Joker or Endgame, something like that. So Dark Knight Rises. This is the controversial one in the trilogy, seen as a lot of people didn't like it, and a lot of people did. And I really loved it. It really, really makes me feel sad and really empty by the end of the film. And yeah, I mean, this is a good film. I love it. There is a lot of problems with it. A lot where you would think it isn't a good film, but for some reason this one just strikes out as being good. I don't know what it is. I just think maybe because it's the arc of all the 3 films coming together, like the arc is just coming together, and it's like, oh, okay. Whereas other trilogies, obviously, that isn't always the case. With Return of the Jedi in Star Wars, Obviously, everyone views that one as the really silly one, and if things start to get a bit prequelish, it's still a really good film because you have all your characters' arcs ending and everything is resolving. But then you have the Matrix trilogy, and I don't think I need to say anything about Matrix 3. But even this one, it still kind of has the same beats as Dark Knight. It has the same kind of score, except for Bane's, obviously, theme. And then it has the kind of same cinematography. So they're not really doing that much different, apart from the story and the characters finally coming to an end. And, you know, I was really surprised that Gary Oldman didn't even get any nominations for the last two films. Because he's really good in these films. I thought he was especially really underrated because Gary Oldman in these films just feels really real. He feels like he really wants to make a change and everything. And I'm just like really, I don't know. It just feels really stupid that he didn't even get one nomination. Bane is terrifying, and one of the best scenes in the trilogy is when he goes to Ben Mendelsohn and says, "Do you feel in charge?" I think that's one of the best scenes in the trilogy, simply because it reminded me of like Darth Vader kind of, because obviously the voice, but then he's making the rich guy look like a complete little bitch, and it's great. How could I have not mentioned Michael Caine? Michael Caine broke my heart when he left in Dark Knight Rises. I thought it was really sad watching him cry when he thought Bruce Wayne was dead. Now, one thing I've always wanted with this film, I wish when Michael Caine nodded towards Bruce Wayne, I wish it just cut there. We didn't see Bruce Wayne. How awesome would that be? I mean, if you wanted to show Robin, obviously you got the fucking, what is it, the elevator going up or whatever. Obviously show that before, I guess, but yeah, if that just cut there, I think that would be a very great ending, because I feel like people were like, but then I feel like that would be a thing that would be kind of talked about for like a really long time. Overall, this trilogy is probably the best trilogy of all time. It is one of the best. Quite simply because the performances, the cinematography, the music, the characters, the villains. I'm going to give Dark Knight a 10 out of 10, and I'm going to give Dark Knight Rises a 9 out of 10. Quite simply because there are a lot of issues, and I can't ignore them. So, it's like a scale. It's like, kind of like that. This is the bottom, like the negatives. This is the negatives, and these are like the positives, and it just kind of, yeah, you know. Please let me know what else you want to see for my reviews. Maybe I could do Jaws or Pulp Fiction. You know, I really don't mind. I would love to do any sort of movie review. Hopefully go in depth as well, but the only reason why I didn't go in depth in this review is quite simply because it's been said so many times on many other channels, and I don't think I need to do that again. And because I'm lazy.